Former Vice President Mike Pence is taking a rare departure from loyalty. Sort of. But first, a reminder. On January 6th, a pro-Trump mob chanted, "Where's Mike Pence? Hang Mike Pence," as they rampaged the U.S. Capitol. They chanted this while then President Trump did nothing for hours to stop them. Instead, he attacked his VP on Twitter because Pence made it clear he would not block congressional certification of the 2020 election results. Trump threw Pence under the bus as Pence, his wife, his daughter, they fled for their lives. Despite that and despite 2024 talk, Pence has yet to really throw Trump under the bus. He did, however, say this last night.
As I said that day, January 6th was a dark day in the history of the United States Capitol. You know, President Trump and I have spoken many times since we left office. And I don't know if we'll ever see eye to eye on that day.
We'll never see eye to eye. With us now, Bill Kristol, former advisor in the Bush 41 administration, currently the director of Defending Democracy Together, a group of prominent anti-Trump conservatives. He's also the editor-at-large of The Bulwark. Bill, good to see you on this Friday. What is your reaction to what we just heard from Pence in this moment?
Donald Trump called him a coward on January 6th and has subsequently repeated that that term several times. And now Mike Pence says, he differs with Trump a little bit, but it was the greatest honor of his life to serve for President Trump. I don't know. What can one say? I can't quite envision having someone call me a coward for behaving properly, incidentally, and for upholding the Constitution, repeating that charge many times, and then saying, a month or two later, a few months later, what an honor to have worked for that person.
Do you think the base even cares about what former Vice President Pence has to say?
I don't know. I mean, to some degree, I think there's probably some sense that he served President Trump pretty well, and his calculation is an obvious one, right? That he gets credit for being Trump's vice president. He gets from the Trump loyalists. He gets credit from the establishment for not going along with Trump on January 6th. He straddles these two groups, and maybe the process works out in 2024 and he's kind of acceptable to everyone who becomes the nominee. And it's not impossible. It's not impossible. But I was a chief of staff to a vice president. I mean, I can't even process the thought, of course, of George H.W. Bush calling Dan Quayle a coward and repeating the charge many times. And then Dan Quayle saying, "Oh, what an honor to have worked for." The whole thing is so crazy that you don't even know one can't think of an example. I don't think in American history that's really quite like this. But again, from a personal point of view, I've known Mike Pence a long time. I really am astonished at it's one thing, I don't think he has to sound like me talking about Donald Trump. He doesn't have to denounce him every time he speaks. But it's the greatest honor of his life to have worked for him.
Do you think it's just a lack of courage to speak out?
Yeah, calculation, I guess. And honestly, I would say that this will sound harsh, but I really believe this. Working for the guy for 4 years, working from more than that, really, if you count the campaign, swallowing hard and having to defend him for indefensible things and suck up to him, frankly, because that's what Trump likes. I think that does something to your character.
And so now Trump is set to speak this weekend at a Republican convention in North Carolina tomorrow. I mean, he continues to spew lies and delusions. And now, according to Axios, Trump plans to make Dr. Fauci a top target at his rallies. Fauci set to become his next punching bag, so to speak. Again, Trump is pushing a platform of rage, of division, rather than policy. Is that a winning strategy?
I wish I could be sure it wasn't, and I think it does lose him some support and causes some people to shy away. But what price has he paid? What price has he paid for pushing a total lie, a total fiction, one of the most dangerous lies that led to violence on January 6th and has now led to lots of dangerous efforts at the state level and so forth and really damaged our democracy? He's leading the Republican Party. Half of them will support him in 2024, they say. He's invited to speak at the state convention of a major Republican party. I mean, I think Trump thinks he's doing fine.
And the majority of Republican lawmakers are going along with it all. They are staying glued to Trump. President Biden has been trying hard to work with Republicans on his agenda. It seems to be getting him nowhere. No done deal yet, but we have heard from moderate Democratic Senator Joe Manchin, who is key here. He's still holding out hope for bipartisanship. Listen.
We're going to make the Senate work the way it was intended to work. I'm totally committed to that. And I'm not throwing caution to the wind. I have never desired to do that. I've listened to everybody's point of view. But the bottom line is, this country has got to unite it. We can't divide it.
But remember, McConnell said this in May.
100% of my focus is on stopping this new administration.
So, Bill, do you really think Republicans are going to give an inch?
Not many inches, or at least not on a lot of key issues. And the question is whether Joe Manchin and Senator Sinema and President Biden ultimately are letting this play out in a way that shows people that they did their best, they went the extra mile for bipartisanship, but they're willing to bust the filibuster and to pass key legislation ultimately, or are they going to let themselves be just tied up by wishing that politics were different than it is right now?
That is the big question. We'll see the outcome hopefully soon. Thank you so much, Bill Kristol, for being with us.